In order to understand the sense of enlightenment or the moment of enlightenment and what it means, we really have to start with the understanding that human beings remain in the cauldron of divine creation. We are being created by the hierarchies according to a divine plan. You can think about the plan as beginning in the Trinity, where you can think of God as providing the substance, the being, Christ as providing the purpose and the design, and the Spirit as providing the intelligence or laws by which this whole thing comes into being. And this process by which the hierarchies are developing us, is new for all beings. They've never done this before. It's not like the hierarchy above us was the same thing and they're going through the process again. Each hierarchy is substantially different in significant ways from the previous hierarchies. So the spiritual world has never created human beings like we are before. And it's taken an enormous amount of time for the hierarchies to figure out and to learn how to do this. So we know that Steiner speaks about ancient Saturn, ancient Sun, ancient Moon, during which time the hierarchies learned how initially to develop what eventually becomes physicality, what eventually becomes the realm of the elemental or the etheric, and what eventually becomes the soul realm. All of this had to be developed over oceans of time. And in this developmental process, Rudolf Steiner explains how the various spiritual beings involved themselves also grew and developed through this creative process. So it's important to understand this is new for everybody. And there's a great deal at stake. In order to proceed with the divine plan, the spiritual world had to, in some sense, wound itself. This is a concept that's hard to take in. But once we have in ancient Saturn the beginning of time, we have certain beings who fall out of step with evolution and essentially become laggards, and to some degree are ordered by the highest spiritual beings to work against the trajectory of the rest of the creative process. So a kind of wounding or tension is woven into the creation of humanity. And that wounding or tension is essential for us to develop one of the key aspects of the human being, which is freedom. In a very real sense, the hierarchies above us are not free in the sense that we can become free. They are what they are in virtue of their being. They are, you could say, no more free than a rose bush is. A rose bush halfway through its development can't decide, I'd rather be a cactus. It's maybe a silly example, but all of the hierarchies above us do not have the same level of freedom that we do. And creating these conditions of freedom required the spiritual world to create a space in itself where there could be adversarial forces. And so our freedom exists in this wounded space. And to a certain degree, it is our great challenge, to the degree that we can, participate in the healing of this woundedness.